back to Iris Smiles. Another reading vlog. I'm so excited today. I'm starting this video on a Saturday. It's gonna be a weekend reading vlog. I'm so excited. I cleaned my whole room, I organized, I vacuumed, I detangled my hair, which it's still kind of wet right now. Because I was up so early, it's 12 o'clock and I got all like the little stuff I had to do done so I can actually like sit down and just enjoy the rest of the day and read. I recently picked up a bunch of new summer releases. At 8 o'clock last night, it was Friday night, I decided to start reading Honey and Spice. I don't know, out of all the books that I recently picked up, this one was just calling to me the most. I couldn't resist the call. I'm currently 150 pages into it, which is basically halfway. I think there's only 300 pages. Fully absorbed from page 1. I started it at 8 o'clock and I stopped reading at about 12:31 in the morning last night. This is a contemporary romance novel and we're following our main character named Kiki Banjo, and she is a second-year college student and she runs this radio show called Brown Sugar, and it's really popular. She's really well respected at her college. Everyone kind of knows her for doing this radio show where she talks about relationships and love. Her whole show is just like how to navigate college relationships. Outside of the radio show, she's very kind of just keeps to herself. She has a close best friend but tries to stay out of drama, tries to avoid dating herself, until this new guy named Malachi transfers to their school. The girls at the college are in a frenzy. Like everyone's trying to like get with this guy and it's causing like fights between the girls, and so she goes on to her radio show and she publicly denounces him and is like, listen, this man is trash, stay away from him, he's not worth it. And this is before she even meets him or like gets to know him. She gets caught kissing him. I don't want to explain like the situation with what happens, but she gets caught kissing him. Now everyone who listens to her radio show thinks that she just said what she said about this person because she was interested and wanted to get all the girls to like leave him alone, and so it kind of threatens her reputation and people start kind of losing respect for her. So she decides to be in a fake relationship with him and bring him onto the show so that people think like it was all planned when really it wasn't. My goal for today is to finish this book, and then I also want to start The Measure by Nikki Erlich. This is the second book I decided to start reading. The world wakes up one day and there's a little box outside of everyone's door that tells them when they're gonna die. So that's pretty much the whole premise of this story. I've not started it at all, so I can't really share much about it, but I'm gonna start it as soon as I finish Honey and Spice. Oh, and one more thing. Okay, so I made a 1 a.m. decision. Hold on, let me go get it. So in my last video, I picked up Book of Night by Holly Black. I don't know why I said that this book came out last year. My sense of time has just escaped me. It's actually Holly Black's newest book and it just came out in May. Originally wanting to start this book first before Honey and Spice. While I was looking at this book, I realized that I never finished the Cruel Prince series. I read the first book, which I know this is hugely popular within the book community right now, but I never went past the first book. I don't know why my brain is like this, but I just feel like I need to finish her old series before I start a new one. I Amazon primed. I picked up The Wicked King. I hope this is the second. Yeah, I know some of you guys watching are like diehard fans of this series, so I hope you're excited because I'm excited to like get back into this. So yeah, I got The Wicked King, and after I finished these two books, I decided that like the next thing on my TBR list is I want to go and finish this series and then get caught up with her newest book. But it has been about 3 years since I read The Cruel Prince, so I remember absolutely nothing of it. I think I made a video. Maybe I should go back and watch my own video to see like what my thoughts were. I think the audiobook of The Cruel Prince is on Scribd, so I think I'm just gonna audiobook to kind of refresh my memory and then go ahead and start The Wicked King, and then if I enjoy The Wicked King, I'll get the last book. Oh my god, I'm so proud of myself. Normally I just like buy the whole series before I've even decided if I liked it or not, but if I enjoy The Wicked King, then I'll go ahead and get the third book as well. Anybody cares? This is my like plan for the next like 5 days. Because this series is so popular, I've been avoiding spoilers. Literally anytime I see anything related to The Cruel Prince, I just keep scrolling because I'm like, I'm gonna go back and finish that series. I just don't know when. Decided that when will be this week. Yeah, it's already 12 o'clock, so I'm gonna make some lunch and drink some coffee, and it's so pretty and nice outside, so I think I'm gonna go sit on my balcony and read a little bit of this until I just can't bear the heat, and then I'll come back in. I think it's about like 5 o'clock, 5:30ish. It is still so hot. Drinking some watermelon juice to cool me down from this book. In my videos, I always leave the cover jacket on when I'm filming, just so you guys know what I'm reading, but actually I do take the jacket off just to maintain its, you know. I'm currently on page 286 and I'm so sad because I really don't want this book to be over. I can't even begin to explain how much I've been able to relate to our main character. Something that's actually a pretty big theme in the second half of the book is just Kiki having to work through her anxiety when it comes to being in really intimate social situations, and that's something that like I feel the exact same way. In order to maintain this fake relationship, she has to, you know, publicly be out with this guy and go to social events and participate in his things that he's doing, and it really pushes her out of her comfort zone. And that's something that I could really relate to because I'm not someone who likes to be in very intimate social situations with a lot of people. Even thinking about it or like reading it in this book was just giving me like secondhand social anxiety. I was like, oh my god. But for real, but then people are also like super surprised and kind of get the wrong impression about her because they think that she's you know, she thinks she's like better than everyone, and that's why she hasn't dated anyone, and that's why she's, you know, not out here participating in all these different social events. Throughout this whole book, I just kept nodding my head. It was really nice to read, you know, a character experiencing these things because I experienced the exact same thing. Like, you guys know, whenever you see me in my vlogs, I'm always in my house or in my bed. I just love like doing my own thing, and she's very much the same way. Like, she has like her passions, and she has like a really small, you know, or really just like a best friend that she tells everything to, but outside of that she kind of keeps to herself. It's a huge challenge, you know, this whole fake relationship, and she's starting to feel like maybe she's bitten off a little more than she can handle. So, you know, her being in these situations, she doesn't want to show that side of herself to Malachi, you know, but she's kind of forced to, and he kind of sees like, oh wow. And Malachi now is realizing like his impression of her is completely wrong as well, and she's kind of a shy person, you know. Like, it's I just love her. It's just so validating to read, you know. Yeah, we have 30 pages left, and then I'm going to be sad, and then I'm gonna pick up another book. I just don't want to go into a book hangover like after I finish this, and I feel like it's gonna be one of those books that just like puts me like, I'm gonna have to recover for a few days because I have other things I need to read too, you know. So anyways, I will let you know my final thoughts when I finish, but I love our main character.
We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances, empty-handed?
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so today is Sunday. It is currently 9:30 a.m. Why am I up this early, you may ask? Last night, I finished Honey and Spice. I was up, I think, until like 1:30 in the morning. I finally like put the book down, and then I woke up again at like 2:30, and I just like powered through the last 30 pages. I can't even begin to explain how incredible this book was. I mean, you guys have followed me along on this vlog, so I think I've shared most of my thoughts, but if you haven't kind of gotten it yet, this is probably on my list of top 5 favorite romance. I would put this book up there with Talia Hibbert's books. If you guys know, probably my favorite romance author is Talia Hibbert. After reading Honey and Spice, like, this author is up there with Talia Hibbert for me. This book was just non-stop fun. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's just like, it put me in such a good mood reading this. Reading The Measure for about 2 hours now this morning. I'm currently, I believe, about 85 pages into it. This book is also around 300 something-ish pages, so I think I might be able to finish it today. This is I'm only reading today, you guys. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I actually started annotating this book this morning because it is way darker than I thought it was gonna be, which I should have known. This whole premise of this book is that everybody wakes up one day and they get a box that basically tells them how much longer they have to live. But which, again, now that I've started the book, the box doesn't actually contain, I thought it was gonna contain like a piece of paper that says you have 85 days left, you have 100 something days left. Actually, in the box is a string, like just a piece of string, and everyone has a different length string. It's really scary because people don't really know the exact number. All they know is if they have a shorter string, they have like just a few years left. Following a bunch of different characters, but the main characters are Nina. She is a magazine editor, and she opened her box and she has a super long string. Also follow her girlfriend Mara, who she opens her box and her string is super short. Nina's younger sister, who she decides not to open her box. She just shoves her box in the back of her closet, which I feel like is something I would do. like in this book, some people, they just refuse to open their box. They throw it, you know, off a building or into a river. Like I would definitely be like Amy, in which I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to know, let me just toss this box out. Also following a doctor named Hank. We're following a guy named Ben. He's a architect, or he's like a designer. He like designs buildings and spaces and things like that. All of their stories do tie together. I already had to pull out my highlighter because like some of these lines just had me like tearing up. I'm just gonna read two of the things that I highlighted because like the writing is so good. Sometimes we screw up and sometimes the system screws with us, but if you live your life with enough passion and boldness, then that's what you'll be remembered for, not the crap that happened along the way. Third thing I highlighted here, which I just thought was so perfect for like us. There were a few places where she felt more contented than a bookstore. She had a sometimes overwhelming tendency to disappear into her daydreams, so Amy took comfort in being surrounded by the equally prolific dreams of others, preserved forever in print. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, Amy's like my favorite character, not only because she's like a reader, but she's also a school teacher, so she's working with children, and children are actually the only group in this book that don't receive a box. So you have to be at least 22 to get a box. So far anyone who's turned 22 or is older than that age has a box, but all the kids are kind of free from having that burden yet. This book actually reminds me a lot of another book that I read earlier this year, How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoyah Nakamatsu. This is another book that kind of is post-apocalyptic. In this book, we're following a bunch of different characters after, you know, a plague has spread throughout the world, and you see how different people have decided to, you know, live their lives knowing that either they're gonna pass away soon or they have family members who are sick. This book, even though it doesn't deal with a plague, we are dealing with people who feel like, you know, they don't have many days left, and so it really does change how they choose to live their lives. It's really interesting because there's like three categories of people. There's people who have a short string, so they know that their life is short. They either join a support group to kind of like get through it, or they decide to just go wild and crazy and like, you know, travel the world because they only have, you know, a few years left. There's the second category of people who find out that their lives are extremely long, and so they start doing really reckless things. They start doing drugs, they start skydiving because they kind of feel like, well, you know, I'm guaranteed this many years, so no matter what I do, I'm not gonna die, so might as well just like go crazy. So interesting to read and to follow all these different characters. Like we're following, again, a character who's a doctor, and in hospitals, some hospitals, if you have a short string, they refuse to help you because they're like, okay, well, your life is short anyways, let's give the medicine and the help to people who are guaranteed to live a longer life. Some people are getting fired at work because they have a short string, so their employers are like, you know what, you're a bad investment. It's so horrible to think, but this is like what's actually happening in this new world that these characters are living in. I'm gonna drink my coffee, and my goal today is to finish this book. I started the audiobook of The Cruel Prince. I used one of my precious Audible credits. I remember it, but I don't remember it super well, so I'm just kind of refreshing with the audiobook. So I'm currently about 4 chapters in. It's all coming back to me. Holly Black is like the queen of the fae. All of her books have to do with fairies or incorporate the fae. Anyways, it is now 10 o'clock. I've been talking for like 30 minutes, but we're gonna go back to reading, and I will update you when I'm halfway through this book.
Her unborn child.
Ooh.
In the burned remains of my estate, the green tint of his skin, and the way his lower teeth seemed too large.
Yeah, this is too slow. I'm gonna speed it up.
Show ya. Wish for me to call you when you turn me on. The way you telling me you want me down.
Why am I crying at 10 o'clock on a Sunday? This is not okay. What is going on? To be a relaxing Sunday, not like an existential Sunday. Jokes aside, I'm 146 pages into this book, and I just was not prepared, like mentally and emotionally, for just everything happening. For example, in this book, like some of the characters, they're questioning the relationships they're in because they're like, okay, if my partner is gonna live longer than me, do I want to continue this and have to put them through, you know, losing me 10 years earlier? I only have one highlighter. I don't know where my other highlighters went, and this one's running out of ink, and I feel like I need to like quickly Amazon deliver some highlighters. Every other page I'm like highlighting stuff that I just find so beautiful. I want to read you guys more, but I don't want to spoil it for you. This book is a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be, but in a really good way. Just sitting here just contemplating like every life decision I've ever made now. No, I mean that in a positive way. Like, it just really makes you think about like how blessed you are to not know your destiny and your fate. Good evening, everyone. It is currently 7:45 p.m. I fell asleep at around 4 o'clock and I woke up at about 5 o'clock, so I did take a little bit of a nap. Currently 222 pages into this book. I fell asleep at like around 200 pages, so I went back to reread like the last 10 pages, kind of like nodding off as I was reading, not because the book isn't good, but because I'm just like sleep deprived. Also, I did get to chapter 8 of The Cruel Prince, which is about page 52. Again, I'm listening to the audiobook, but I just wanted to like hold up the visual so you guys know like what page that is. These are all the books that I read this weekend. Again, I only officially finished one of them. One of them's a reread, and then I still have about 50 pages left of this last book, but I wanted to show you guys what I realistically read in a weekend. It is Sunday night, so I have to get up early tomorrow morning, and I'm sad to end the vlog here, but thank you guys so much once again for watching. Until next time, keep reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!